Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. Yep, it's Thanksgiving week. This week proves to probably be pretty slow with everything that we're going to hear in the political world, but that doesn't mean that we didn't have a little bit of craziness that happened basically over the weekend. And of course, it's hypocritical at best. You know, we look at Trump filling out his cabinet nominations. And I will admit, let's put it that way, I'm not a fan of some of them. His picks for Health and Human Services or something like that, not. When you start putting people in charge of the medical community who were pro-masking, pro-social distancing, pro-patting us on the shoulder, yeah, not so much. Okay. But, when he comes out and announces stuff like they were a proponent of Operation Warp Speed, that was probably Trump's biggest F-up in his last administration. But neither here nor there. This is what we get. But it's the bigger ones that I find absolutely hilarious that the Democrats are pushing against. Okay. For context, I want to give you this. When Biden nominated his cabinet, every single one of them, the total, all of them, okay, Defense, HHS, Secretary of State, yada, yada, pick all of them, okay. The total number of Democrats that voted against Biden's nominations for all cabinet positions was 0. They rubber stamped everybody that Biden picked, including some of those highly, highly qualified people like Pete Buttigieg as the Secretary of Transportation, who never has done anything in transportation whatsoever in his life and had the nickname of Pothole Pete in South Bend, Indiana, because he wasn't even competent enough to get the potholes in the roads fixed. But yeah, we'll put him in charge of airports and bridges and highways and railway stations. It's because, he was so qualified. Or Xavier Becerra, who was or still is, the Secretary of the aforementioned HHS, who has no medical training whatsoever at all. But he was the one who was in charge of Health and Human Services in the United States because, hey, he knows so much about it. And we could go on, Admiral Levine or, pick something, the utter incompetence, Sam Britton. But they all got rubber stamped. And so now we have the RINOs in the Senate who are, well, I'm not sure about Trump's picks. Well, Pete Hegseth has allegations of rape against him. Yeah, allegations that were so strong, even the video evidence proves there was no truth to it. The Department of Justice had decided there was no case whatsoever and even thought about charging the married woman who accosted and basically raped Hegseth while her husband and kids were in another hotel room. This is a problem. The RINOs who are going after, and the Democrats who are going after Tulsi Gabbard, who, she's an asset of Russia. Huh? Really? Okay. No, this woman is a lieutenant colonel in charge of the National Guard from 2 different states who has served in Iraq, and you're worried about her going to meet with Bashar al-Assad years and years and years ago. May I remind you that when she met with Assad, she was a Democrat. And since then, she has come to her senses and realized the Democrat Party is the party of war. Okay? So much so that there's reports out there that the Biden administration is considering, I'm saying, giving Ukraine nuclear weapons. Just thinking about that. Okay. It was funny watching the clips from the Sunday morning news shows. Tammy Duckworth, Claire McCaskill, Democrats, coming out and saying how unqualified Pete Hegseth was to be Secretary of Defense, or how unqualified Tulsi Gabbard was to be Director of National Intelligence. Ms. Duckworth, Ms. McCaskill, please tell me about your experience in the military or in the intelligence community. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Neither of you have any. I've got experience in both. Am I qualified to be Secretary of Defense? Hell no. Am I qualified to be DNI? Hell no. Okay. But I have more experience in both those entities than either one of you do. And you're up questioning whether or not they are qualified. Don't make me laugh. That's as funny as Jasmine Crockett, the idiot congresswoman, racist through and through from Texas, who came out screaming on the floor of the House on Friday about how DEI was so necessary in the country, and, that white people don't know anything about oppression. They've never been dragged out of their house, taken to another country, and had their wives raped. And as my response to Ms. Crockett was, please bring one of those people to testify in front of Congress. I'd love to hear somebody, firsthand story, who's been brought across the ocean, put into indentured servitude and had their wife raped. Please let them tell their story. I'd be all ears. Right? Okay. This is the insanity that's going on. And we have Republicans, or so they call themselves, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, John Cornyn, John Thune, Mitch McConnell, and a few others, who are like, we need to know more about Trump's cabinet picks. They need to have the background checks done. I hate to tell you this. The background checks that Tulsi Gabbard's gone through, the background checks that Pete Hegseth has gone through for their positions in the military are probably more than the background checks that you went through to be sitting members of Congress. Maybe we could go look at your SEC records and let's take a look at your stock trades. Maybe we should take a look at all the expenditures from Congress to pay off your, Diddy party violation, the hush money there, right? As Marjorie Taylor Greene had put it, you want all this information, you want to unseal the records on Matt Gaetz, right? That story from last week. Good. Let's unseal the records on all the other members of Congress. And let's see how many of them join Madonna and Ellen DeGeneres and Cher and Tom Hanks and Hillary Clinton saying they're going to run for the hills and move to another country. Why? Not because they're afraid of a Trump presidency. No, they're afraid of a prosecution under federal statute for child rape. You know, let's see the Diddy list. Let's see the Epstein list. Let's put you in front of a judge of our choosing. Okay? None of this moron judge in New York or anything like that. You know, these judges that were completely corrupted when they were trying to charge Trump. No, let's put you in front of a Clarence Thomas or a Brett Kavanaugh. Let's put you in front of judges like that who've been wrongfully accused. And let's see what happens when somebody who's rightfully accused has to face the music. I find it extremely interesting that the people with more skeletons in their closets, more dirty laundry, are the ones out there accusing other people of misdeeds. You know, those in glass houses should not throw stones. We all know that, right? The next month and a half, or thereabouts, is going to be quite interesting before Trump is inaugurated. Remember, Congress gets seated right after the new year. They'll start these confirmation hearings before Trump is even inaugurated. And so we'll know. Elon Musk has come out and said that anybody that tries to, any Republican that tries to thwart Trump's agenda, which of course the American people overwhelmingly supported, we proved that 3 weeks ago, he's going to help primary them or help run against them. Yes, we need to do that. We all need to do that. We need to take these crooked politicians. Oh, I don't know. We could start with the election boards in Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, you know, where the senatorial races were obviously crooked, Nevada, okay. And the first thing we can do is go after them and straighten that stuff out. Why is it that we have counties in California 3 weeks after the election is over still counting ballots? Counties. I mean, India, the country of, okay, can count 65 million ballots in a day. Lake County, California can't count 65,000 ballots in 3 weeks. Why? Well, we've got to figure out how to fix it. This is everything that is going on. This is why January is going to be very interesting. Trump needs to come out guns a-blazing. And it sounds like some of the things are going to be done. The Keystone Pipeline is going to get started again. Drill Baby Drill is going. Getting rid of transgenders in the military. Deporting people. These are all things that the American people said they wanted. The American people support Tulsi Gabbard as DNI. The American people support Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. Ironically, the American people supported Matt Gaetz and also support Pam Bondi as AG. It's going to be interesting to see how much pushback Trump gets from his own party or people that claim to be part of it. But I will say this, especially for Murkowski, Collins, and McConnell, Alaska, Maine, Kentucky, somebody there, if you're watching this channel and have any aspirations, find somebody, do it yourself, run against them. I mean, just for the fact that John Thune put Susan Collins in charge of appropriations over the weekend, that's ridiculous. A RINO is the one who's heading the committee on how money's spent in Washington. Good luck getting any bills through, because Susan Collins may want to send more money to Ukraine. But the guy sitting behind the Resolute desk is going to tell them all to pound sand, because that is what we, the people, have said we want. And one of these days, the light bulb's going to go on for people in Congress and go, you know what? Maybe we do need to remember that we work for the people and not the other way around. But until we, all 350 million of us, stand up and start telling these career politicians who are only self-serving for themselves that that's not what's going to happen any further, and we start putting people in that put America first, we'll keep reaping what we sow. Kentucky, somebody explained to me how Kentucky can elect Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul. I mean, that's pretty damn close to the difference between AOC and Ted Cruz, okay? Kentucky, get your butt in gear. Get rid of McConnell. The guy's the walking dead, okay? He's an embarrassment to your state. He's an embarrassment to the Republican Party. He's an embarrassment to the United States. Put him out to pasture. Send him back to China, you know? It's where he gets most of his money anyway. We need to fix this country. It's going to take work from all of us. It's not, gee, the election's over, we can go back to our normal lives for the next 4 years until it happens. No. 2 years from now, we have midterms. And there's a lot of people on the ballot then that need to go. We got to get through January before we can worry about the rest of 2025. But we really got to start watching for 2026. And it's time to find those people that can start putting a campaign together now. We got to get these good people in Washington. We got to get rid of the bad people in Washington. Trump can't do it all. We got to help. Pinball out.